services agreement for the Charleston Lift Station rehab. As you know, with the consent decree, we have looked at all of our different collection system components. Lift stations are a large part of our collection system. We have over 28 lift stations in our system. The Charleston Park Lift Station was identified as a lift station that was in need of some work. That area in green is actually the Charleston Park Lift Station collection area. That's east of Old Omen and north of University Boulevard. It's actually a fairly small area, but it is in need of work. The scope is going to include installation of new submersible pumps, wet well repairs, site piping, fencing, site access improvements, a lot of the different things, including an installation of an automatic transfer switch and a diesel standby generator. The Charleston Park Lift Station was actually built in 2000, but it does need all of these. It was identified in the consent decree as needing this work. So we selected KSA to do this engineering design for us at a contract price of $250,000. The overall design and construction length will be about 9 months. We expect construction will start in January of 24, completing in October of 24. And the opinion of the probable construction cost is $929,852.50. But this is to execute an engineering services agreement with KSA for the work. So it's recommended that the City Council authorize the City Manager to execute a contract in the amount of $250,000 with KSA Engineers for the Charleston Lift Station Rehabilitation Project and adopt a resolution reserving the right to reimburse expenditures with proceeds of future debt.
Any questions for Kate?
Kate, you mentioned 28 lift stations. Do we have backup power at all 28 stations?
No, we do in some of our larger ones, but most of the time, instead of the backup generator, what we have is kind of a bypass to where we can put in some bypass pumps or put some bypass pumps to the side and kind of connect a hose through a quick connect to the force main, so we can then, if our pumps go down or there's no power there, we can use that diesel bypass pump to pump out of the wet well and into the force main, which works very well for us.
Move to approve M9.
Second.
Got a motion by Wynn, second by Westbrook. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. M10.
Okay, M10 is for the Earl Campbell Gravity Sewer Main. So this again is an engineering services agreement. The Earl Campbell lift station is actually a very small area, very small lift station actually, that's east of the loop over near, near Bellwood Lake, but east of the loop in that area. But what was identified was, even though this lift station was built in 2011, we can actually gravity feed this flow, which is much preferred over having mechanical pieces of equipment that you have to maintain. So since that was identified, this is part of the evaluation through the consent decree and through work with KSA. This would be to decommission that lift station and then replacing it with a gravity sewer main. So that sewer main will then consist of 2,200 linear feet of 8-inch gravity sewer main. So again, the consultant for this is KSA Engineers. The contract price is $202,700. The design and construction length is fairly short at 6 months. We expect to be completed by July of 24, and the OPCC is about $650,000 for the replacement, which overall is a big savings in when you compare it to the O&M of operating a lift station. So it is recommended that the City Council authorize the City Manager to execute a contract in the amount of $202,700 with KSA Engineers for the Earl Campbell Gravity Sewer Main Project and adopt a resolution reserving the right to reimburse expenditures with the proceeds of future debt.
Any questions for Kate?
So moved.
Got a motion by Keller, second by McGee. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Last one, M11.
Last but not least. So this is for an engineering engineering services agreement, but it is for an evaluation, not for actual engineering, just for an engineering evaluation of Bellwood, Shackelford, and Brooks lift stations and their force mains evaluation. These, again, were identified through the consent decree as in need of further evaluation. So let me show you where these are located. So Shackelford is a fairly large area that is served, which is kind of south of Cumberland, well, actually north and south of Cumberland. That's that kind of purple area, blue-purple area. And then the Brooks lift station is actually located south of 49, but it also serves the Cumberland Village, shopping center, yeah, sorry. So the Brooks lift station actually pumps to the Shackelford lift station, and the Shackelford lift station pumps over to the Southside wastewater treatment plant. And then Bellwood, that lift station is located over by Bellwood Lake. It's near the boat ramp at Bellwood Lake. So Bellwood is one of our older lift stations. It was built in 1979. It's a really small diameter wet well, which doesn't give us much buffering capacity when power goes out or there's an issue. So that will be evaluated. The Brooks lift station, it was built in 2002. It's a large wet well, large capacity, but it needs to be evaluated for future growth. And we're looking at refining scopes and developing priorities and the schedules for each of these lift station projects when they need to be done. Shackelford lift station, it was also built in 2000, and it's a fairly large wet well as well. But these force mains are critical to making sure that we can safely convey the sewer from the lift station over to the different plant that it's going to. So we've had some issues with some of these force mains, so that's another reason we're looking at it. So this is an evaluation. The selected consultant has been KSA, and that contract price is $75,000 for this evaluation. So it's recommended that the City Council authorize the City Manager to execute a contract in the amount of $75,000 with KSA Engineers for the Bellwood, Shackelford, and Brooks Lift Station and Force Main Evaluation Project, and adopt a resolution reserving the right to reimburse expenditures with proceeds of future debt.
Any questions for Kate?
Second.
Got a motion by McGee, second by Curtis. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Kate. Good job. All right, we're down to the consent